Colin Ryan.
Thank you for that. My name is Colin Ryan. Friends, family, total strangers, Mom. Thank you for coming. Let's get to know each other a little. Okay, I'll start. For a person who talks a lot to new people, for a person who goes up to strangers all the time and wants to get to know them, you'd think that I'd be better at it by now. Okay. That's a perfect example of my point. I went into a lamp repair shop last weekend, and I asked the lady if they do lamp repairs. I know, and I thought, well, that's the low point of the conversation. And she started to, she stared at me for a minute, and then recovered and started to describe the prices, and I thought, this is way out of the range of this crappy little lamp that I want to fix. And so I said, oh, it's actually probably really simple. And she went, no, actually it's really complicated. It requires an understanding of circuitry, and it's quite precise work. And I thought, oh, I meant my lamp is really simple, not your chosen profession that you went to school for and got certified in and now make a living at. And then I thought, oh, that's the low point of the conversation. Listen, I don't want to burst your bubble, but I'm not a ninja, okay? I don't know if anyone was thinking that, but I'm not. But there's something that ninjas use that I wish I had, okay? Smoke bombs. How great would that be? Okay, say something just ridiculous and unrecoverable, and smoke bomb. Vanish. A little while ago, a couple introduced me to their young boy. He's about 2 years old. I was meeting him for the first time. He was adorable. I mean, he was a chubby little cherub. Okay, so big little boy. But and I love kids. Kids crack me up. So I said to his parents, "Oh, he's so cute. His cheeks are wide, though. Too wide, right? I know." I kept going. So the kid's got a mouth like a VCR. And I'm looking at them, and they're looking at me, and I'm like, and that comb-over's not fooling anybody, is it? Smoke bomb. How perfect that would have been. Now, when it comes to kids, I have an even worse story than that, okay? I used to be a photographer for a local paper. I'm in a restaurant, and I see these two boys, and I recognize them, but it takes me a while to figure out that I've taken a picture of them for a local paper. So I think I gotta go over and say something. So I walk over, and I tap the dad on the shoulder, and he turns around and says, "Yes?" And I go, "I've been staring at your sons this whole time." So I quickly add, I realize I've taken photos of them. You might ask, what did I do next? Did I stay and explain myself? No, I didn't. I walked away. I didn't think I had any other option. In hindsight, I probably should have stayed. When you are having a conversation with somebody and there's a small degree, just a small degree of doubt in their mind that you might be a child pornographer, you stay and you clear that up. It's not a smoke bomb situation. So, seriously, guys, I will never judge you for saying dumb things. My life is just a litany of just unrecoverable, awkward, blurting, moments. And so, feel safe around me. I was trying to explain this to a friend of mine recently. I said, I've said so many dumb things in my life. I mean, my social ineptitude has given me a huge well of compassion for all mankind. And she goes, Jesus. And I went, what? I don't know about that. I care. I mean, I need to put a label on it, but I mean, there's no scale for this kind of thing. And I mean, thank you. That's an incredible compliment, but no, I am not Jesus. And listen, okay, I want to apologize. Just now, I cursed, you know, and I was raised better than that, okay? I was raised in a home with a lot of religious teaching. I was raised to be very mature. And I gotta tell you, every time God closes a door, it scares the shit out of me. What was that? Are we being haunted right now? Quick, go check and see if a window's open. It's open, a window's open. God. I almost got through that. You think that's weird? That's what I say when people ask me to say grace. You know, there's a saying that I learned when I was a kid. How does it go? Sorry, I've forgotten it already. Yeah, powerful. Okay. He obviously had a huge effect on me. He who asks a dumb question is a fool for 5 minutes. He who doesn't ask the question is a fool forever. That's not true, is it? I'm sorry, a Chinese proverb, if that's your real name. Your timeline is way off, okay? He who asks a dumb question is a fool for as long as he remembers the way people responded when he asked that dumb question. I was in 8th grade, and my teacher said something about Mariah Carey. And I leaned over to my buddy and I said, "Who's Mariah Carey?" And my buddy, Chris Vincent, turned to the class and said, "Colin doesn't know who Mariah Carey is." And everyone laughed. They cracked up. That was the funniest thing they'd ever heard. Chris Vincent laughed. My Spanish teacher laughed. The foreign exchange student from Russia was laughing. The homeschool kid who was only there for Spanish was laughing. And they laughed until they laughed themselves dry. And then they went on with the class. And no one told me who Mariah Carey was. And obviously, I'm still holding on to that. Okay? Chris Vincent, if you're watching this on YouTube later, I wish you had never done that to me. Listen, that has obviously affected me, okay? So much so that I don't like to ever admit something I don't know, okay? And what's the thing we all do most often? We forget people's names, right? Someone's talking to us, we're like, oh no, I have no idea this person's name. Thankfully, technology has basically removed our need to ask a question like that, right? All we have to do is have a conversation with them where we kind of try to build a Facebook profile in our mind. So we can go home and look them up later and then send them a message and be like, "So great to see you, insert name here," right? So here's the game, and you can do this, okay? Here's some questions you can weave into conversation in order to build that Facebook profile. Gosh, it's been a long time since I've seen you. What are some of the music, movies, and television you've been enjoying? It's a small world. Who are some of our mutual friends? I like activities. So much. What are some activities you enjoy? And here's the last question you can ask, and I want to warn you because there's no coming back from this one, okay? Gosh, I've enjoyed our conversation. Have I poked you before? All right, so I want to end by telling you a story about the most uncomfortable conversation I've ever had. And you've been here for the past few minutes, so you know I'm not just saying that, okay? I was living out in California, and some friends of mine had met this guy who was in a band, and he was like a total rock star, bassist, cool guy, right? And I wanted to get to know this guy. So we went to the coffee shop where he worked, because he's a rock And he's like, bussing tables or whatever he's doing, living the dream, right? And I sort of walk over and I kind of run into him, and I'm like, I'm really excited, to sort of get to know this guy a little, because he's a pretty funny guy. And so I'm like, hey man, how's it going? And he goes, hey, this is my man. Oh no, you're a total weirdo. I thought you were like this cool bass playing guy, but you are super weird. And I'm just staring at him and he goes, this is my man. And I'm looking at the little finger man he's introduced me to, and I'm just frozen. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. There's no training for this kind of moment. And he's looking at me and I'm looking at him and he says a third time, this is my band. He's pointing at a speaker over our heads. It's his band playing on the stereo. He wanted me to hear them. And I thought, okay, you are not the strangest individual alive. And then I realized that if I hadn't waited until he said it a third time, that he would have felt all of that about me. Because I was about to go, hello. Because what do you do in that situation? He's probably got tiny eardrums, so you raise your, hello. He's Irish? Why am I talking in Irish accent? And what are the social customs? Do I high five? Do I hug him? Like, what do I do? And oh, nice to meet you. I said, this is my band. Smoke bomb. Thank you very much.